17, 18, 19 units back. And we start with 35. I'm halfway home. This side is hard. And the reason why it's hard is actually, I'll give you another quote from another subscriber of ours, PJ Strong. He says this, and I think it's one of the better visuals I can give you, is that playing the right side, especially as in a cross better, which I admittedly am when I'm on the right side, it's like picking up nickels in front of a steamroller. And what he's saying there is, you've got 6 bets across, right? When the 7 comes, you lose 6 bets. When a win comes, you win 1, right? Again, we're in the middle of this Gambling 301 series, which is all math. And we've done the boring hardcore math already. We did all the calculations and the house edge and all that stuff. In this session, we're going to talk about strategy math, and it's going to basically kind of pick up where the session that we did on units left off, because I think units are the key to the whole thing. Okay. And here's reason number 8, right? Why the house always wins. And I say we're always running uphill, almost always running uphill, right? Jack and Jill went up the hill, each with a pile of chips, and they hit every rock on the way down, right? Garrison is famous for saying right side bettors always die broke, right? Him and John Patrick say that. Greg from 555 Craps, who's been here today, will probably agree with that, right? Right side is hard. And the reason why it's hard is actually, I'll give you another quote from another subscriber of ours, PJ Strong. He says this, and I think it's one of the better visuals I can give you, is that playing the right side, especially as in a cross better, which I admittedly am when I'm on the right side, it's like picking up nickels in front of a steamroller. And what he's saying there is, you've got 6 bets across, right? When the 7 comes, you lose 6 bets. When a win comes, you win 1, right? That's what he's talking about. And that is another reason why they always get you. You're always betting way more than what you're getting back. And I think we don't realize that. I think we're looking for this magical thing, and that running up the hill with the pail of water is us, searching out the magic, and it doesn't always come. Okay. So let's dig into what we mean by the strategy accounting for your wins. And here's a question I've got, and it's a legitimate question. I want your answers in the chat, if you would. Do you have a per shooter goal? Do you have a per session goal? And what I mean by that is very simply put, okay, I think most of us would agree that 20%, 35%, those are high level goals, right? That's a pretty good goal for a session. Now, if I go out there, let's just take craps, for example. If I go out there with $44 inside, okay, $44, and I get 1 hit, that 1 hit is $15, 14, but we'll say $15, right? $15 out of 45. What's the ratio there? That's a third, right? That's a 33% win on that shooter. If I'm 44 inside, right? I got $15. That's a 33% win on that shooter. But what do all of us do? Press it, maybe collect the second time, maybe collect the third time. And I've been doing this for a while now. I got beat bad last night at the casino, doing that exact thing. 44 inside, 3 hits, so 15, 15, 15, and then I'm playing for the home run. Well, guess what happens, right? 15, 15, 15 is 100% profit on that shooter. 100% profit. When we say you got out of the hand, right? That's 100% profit on a shooter. And I want you to remember that. That's hard to do. You bring $1,000 and you win $1,000, it's 100% profit. That's hard to do. Yet right side play is largely based around getting out of the hand, which means 100% profit on a shooter. Think about how tough that is if you did it per session. And the question then becomes this, and here's where your strategy's got to account for this. How many units do you need to win to get to whatever goal that is? Okay. If I'm betting 44 inside in craps and 1 win is $15, it's a unit and a half. 1.5 units is my win to get to that 33% level. You got to know what that is, right? If I'm looking to get 100% profit, that means 3 wins, right? 3 wins. How many times must I win? How many units must I win? I got to win 2, 4, 6, 8 units in 1.5 unit segments. So you got to think about that. Your strategy has to account for, what do I have out there? What does each win look like in terms of number of units? How many of those units do I need to win to make my goal? How many wins does it take to get those units? All of that is important. The question nobody here ever talks about, I talk about it sometimes, but not nearly enough. What does hitting your goal trigger? And again, when you're building a strategy, and I think one of the best people out there to talk through this is Waylon. Waylon does this and he preaches this like crazy, and we have to listen to this. What is your trigger when you hit your goal? Do you walk? And what I mean by that is, are you done? If I go 96, if I buy in for $1,000 and I go 96 across and I get 1, 2, 3 hits, that for me is another $96. Even if you're just same betting it, right? 21, 21, 21, just pull them back in, right? That's $63, right? If you happen to press one and get a collect, you can be at 96. You can be at 100% win goal. Okay? Do you walk with that? Do you pause and say, that shooter made me, in that case, in that example, 66% of my money? Pause. The trigger for achieving the impossible, which is 2 or 3 hits in a box, you see it every day. The impossible of getting 2 or 3 hits is your trigger. When that happens, pause, wait, shooter did his job, and I'll let 55 rolls go by because I don't care. I made my goal on that shooter. That's the long-term way of thinking, right? For us. Do you go home? Was that your trigger to leave? If I was there with $1,000 and I got out of the hand once and paused, out of the hand a second time, shooter number 2, and paused. I'm up $200, 20%. Do I walk? Does hitting your goal trigger you to walk away? Or does hitting your goal for the shooter, which means 100% win goal on the shooter, mean now I go hard? Which is what most right side players on craps do. Get to their goal, which is 100% win, and then put it all at risk, right? That's the right side mindset. But you got to know this going in. Your strategy is, what is your goal per shooter? What is your goal per session? How many units do you need to win to make that goal? And therefore, based on your bet size, how many times must you win? And what is your trigger? When you're making the strategy, all that math has to come into place. How many wins do you need? Well, let's take an example here. If your unit size, and it can be anything. We talked units yesterday, right? Your units can be $5, $10, $25, whatever it is. Let's say a unit is $10, okay? And your goal is to win 10 units, $100, okay? What must your bankroll be? That's a question for you to answer for yourself. But here's some betting size examples, right? If you're going to bet 1 unit at a time, you need 7 to 10 wins to get there, depending on the size of your win. If you're betting in the field, you need 10 wins. 10 wins before you lose anything. Remember that piece too, right? 10 clean wins to get to that goal. If you're going to bet 2 units per bet, you need 4 to 5 wins, depending on, again, the size of your win. If you're willing to bet 3 units, and again, this gets into risk appetite, you need 2 to 3 wins. So you can adjust the length of time you're there, right? I will bet more money, so I'm there for a shorter period of time. I'm going to bet more money, 3 units per bet, and just get 2 or 3 wins and I'm out because I'm scared of time. I'm going to bet 1 unit per bet and try and get 7 wins or 10 wins because I don't want to have a lot of money out there, right? That decision in your strategy is up to you. That's based on your risk appetite. That's based on your bankroll, okay? Each of those betting units has to work within your bankroll. And don't forget, you might be on multiple bets, right? This is talking about, I'm using the field or the pass line as an example there, but if you're betting the across, you're not just betting 1 unit. You're betting way more than that, okay? How big will your bets be, right? Another question, right? You're bankroll based, you're risk based. With bigger bets, like I said, you need fewer wins to reach your goal. But the closer you get to the YOLO, the bigger the impact is in your bankroll. I'll take my daily paycheck as an example. I'm out there flailing around sometimes, right? I got $4,500 in the rack, right? I'm putting $2,100 out there. Half my bankroll's out there. Why? 2 hits, right? Big giant impact to my bankroll if I take a 7, but I only need 2 hits and I'm at my goal for the day, right? Bet sizing is important. And again, it's what appetite do you have for, are you okay with losing half of your bankroll in 1 roll? Are you okay with that? Okay. The trade-off to that, there's always a trade-off. It's like like one of those, what do you call it? Like the string's always the same length. It's just where it's at on the plane there, right? It's, less 2 hits and out or 10 hits and whatever. The problem with multiple hits, as you'll see here in a minute, is that it's hard to recover. Okay. Because each loss, you got to recoup it with subsequent wins, right? And it becomes potentially a compounding problem, especially for craps players, but it happens on roulette as well, right? Again, let's take another example. Let's say you're doing a craps and you're in a cross bet, okay? You want to win 10 units today. You got 6 units out there, right? 10, 10, 12, 12, 10, 10, right? You got $64 across. It's 10, or at 6 units, 6 $10 units out there. The average win's about a unit and a half, okay? You need to win 10 times, right? You're risking 6 units, looking for at least 6 wins. 6 wins will get you to 10 units, right? That's a lot. That's 100%. You need to get each one hit one time. Your break even is 4. At 64 across, 4 wins of an average size will get you about $65 in the rack. You need 4 wins to break even, which means what, folks? 100% win goal. 4 wins is 100% profit on the shooter, but you need more than that. You have 6 wins, 6 bets out there to win 10. So there's that part of the math, right? Here's the thing. When you fail to get it, 64 across, I need 4 wins to break even. I need 6 wins to get my goal, and I get 2. What happens? Well, now you're upside down. Now you're upside down, right? You needed 4 to break even. You only got 2. On the next shooter, 64 across, you don't need 6 wins anymore. You need 8 wins. You got to recover the 2 that you lost, plus get 4 new ones to be even, plus 4 new ones to get your goal, right? Accounting for loss is a big deal, okay? What is your way to get there? When you're upside down a couple of wins, you need more wins to recover that. And there's other ways to do it. Your bankroll is the key, right? You can YOLO things, 1 or 2 shots and walk. You can grind, right? You dig a little hole like that. You got to grind to work through it. I say it all the time. How many times do you get where you burn, and you're down and you have a great shooter and all you did was get even because you're so far behind? This is Jack and Jill going up that hill. You get down the bottom of the hill, you're carrying the bucket all the way the hell up that hill. And it's hard because you dig yourself a little bit of a hole. And it happens everywhere. It can happen. I saw a guy last night at the casino betting the dark side. And same thing, right? His loss accounting, right, was laddering. He did a don't pass max odds ladder. $10 and max and max. He lost it, $20 in max. He lost it, $30 in max. And we had a really cold, awful table. But what happened was the guys were hitting come out 7. They would set a point, hit the point, set a point, 7 out. So he would get a point, right? He would lose, ladder up, and he was just grinding himself into a hole all day long, right? Terrible table. He lost money because of the way his ladder worked. He never got the subsequent wins to make it work, right? But think about this, okay? Breaking your goal down into units, and for each unit you're looking to win, you got to back it up, I think, with 10 units as far as your bankroll goes, right? And a 10-unit goal requires 100 units. Whether you're betting 1 unit at a time or 5, cover yourself with a 10-to-1 ratio at minimum for your goal, for your win goal. You might want to have more to account for losses depending on what you're going to do, okay? And again, here's the thing. How do you plan for your recovery? I think your bankroll is the key, right? If you get behind whatever number of units, in my example earlier, I said you got behind 2 units. How do you get it back? How do you recover the 2 units, right? We have a 6-unit spread. We need 4 to get even. We need 6 units to win our goal, right? We need 4 to be even. The next 2 become our win goal profit, but you only get 2. You're upside down now. You're upside down 2 wins. What do you do? Do you play that strategy you were playing for more time, longer, right? Or do you say, well, I still want to only have to get 4 wins to break even, so you double the size of your bets. You double the size of your bets, and now the 4 units or the 4 wins that you needed before are still just 4 wins, but you have more money out there, okay? Laddering like that can work when it works, but if you swing and miss, now you're here. And now you're triple the exposure money-wise, and you're still counting a number of wins. So your question is, do I want to play longer at the same level, and now I've got to get 8, 10, 15, 20 wins to get even? Or do you want to dip into that bankroll and say, well, screw it, we're just going to go higher and keep the number of wins I need the same because I have higher bets? Both of, again, trade-off. One is a trade-off in time. One is a trade-off in not just time, but you got to pull off the miracle. You got to get 25 wins to get back to straight, or just YOLO it. Basically, put your bankroll at risk higher, take the same number of wins, right? You can work a ladder up, ladder down system like Wayland does, and find a way to kind of ladder up and come down and kind of work it like this as you go, as a way to recover your loss. You got to think about that. Your bankroll has got a lot to say about it, right? I think the most important thing though is to understand the number of units you got at risk, the number of units you need to break even, the number of units you need to kind of show that profit. I think that's the most important piece of it, right? Understanding your size. What is your win goal in units? What is your personal risk tolerance or risk appetite? How many wins do you need? And when you lose, don't forget to add the number of units you lost to the number of wins required. Okay. A good way to do that is with white chips, right? Keep a stack of whites that says, I need to win 6, right? I have like a 4 and a 2. And like you start moving the white chips around so you keep track of where you're at. It helps you remember where you are. It's easy. It's a lot easier way to kind of use your rack. And decide your recovery plan. Is it more wins? Is it laddering up? Right? Or are you going to say, screw it, I'm just going to go back to basic strategy, get out of hand on this shooter, or recover my loss on that roulette wheel, and then use my excess profits to home run it. That might be a way too, right? But you've got to think through it. You got to think through all the ways, right, that you're going to be A, exposed, and B, what you need. And I think when you build a strategy, the core of that has got to be this kind of acceptance of the number of units you've got out there. That's such an important thing. We forget that. $500, 64 across, and we're just going to run it until we're broke, right? There's no goal, there's no sizing, there's no accounting for what's going on out there. That's where we all have to change. And I hope that kind of solidifies it. And anyway, I want to go to my craps table here. I'm going to turn the light on. I want to show you and talk through some of this with you and what I was thinking today. And I was thinking about this kind of on the fly. So forgive me if the math is not perfect, but I did this kind of on the fly. Here we go. We've got $60 in the 6 and 8, $20 in the field. That's a 3-to-1 ratio. Okay. Talk about win goals first. What's your win goal per shooter? This is basically $150. Okay. If you catch a win up in here, that's $70. You lose your field. If you were to put the field bet back, you're up $50. Okay. That's a 33% win. It's more than that. It's about 35% win on this shooter, which is pretty amazing. Think about that. That's a huge win on this shooter. It's awesome. Okay. You could be done. This is that. What's my trigger? Pause. Next shooter. Right. That's a perfectly fine thing. As a matter of fact, like I said, if these were 600, 600, and 100 or 200, that's $500. Remember the unit math yesterday? If you add zeros to things, right? If I'm up here at 600, 600, and 200, rather, and we catch a win on an 8, that's a $700 win minus the 200 in the field. Guess what? That's a $500 win. That's a beautiful thing right there, right? You're looking for a daily paycheck. You want to roll up to the casino, make one throw, and go home. That ain't bad. Okay, but let's take a look at this strategy. And here's one of the beauty parts of it. And I think if you take that first win and say, hey, we got a win, awesome. Let's go down by half. Let's take every bet down by half. And again, we're out there for 140 to start. Guess what? When you do that, where are you? You've got 120 back in your rack. Okay, so that first hit, and you regress, you're at almost no risk at this point. You're almost no risk. One roll, right? We almost got 100%. If we catch another hit in here for $35, okay, now where are we? If we were to pull everything down, where we get to, there's 125. That's the 140 that we started with. We have 50, 75, $90. Okay, $90 out of 140, basically 2/3. Pretty good profit after 2 rolls, after 2 hits up here. That's ideal. And again, think about your goal per shooter, not necessarily your goal for the day. But let's go back where we just were and put it back. Let's go here, 10 in the field, and put this money back in the rack. there's our, I'm going to take that 35 bucks back home and reset the rack. We have 120 bucks in the rack. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've regressed down. Now, we catch our next little win right there. The next regression happens. Pull it all down. Right? You lose your 10 bucks. You would go 5 bucks in the field and a $12 6 and 8. I'll get a dollar change and regress a second time. Drawdown style. $12 6 and 8. $5 in the field. Bring back 50. 65 plus from before. Let's get our bankroll right. There's 125, 140. That's our starting. This represents a $45 lock in profit in the rack, locked in profit. Plus we've regressed the third time. This could easily come back home. 24, 30 more bucks, right? Or you can play it out. And here's where you start playing the game, right? The goal for this strategy, right, was to 2 hits to profit. 1 hit could be enough. Now, what happens if you lose? Let's go back up here. Let's really look at this part. This is the thing I want to break down. Not so much for this strategy itself, but for any strategy, really. We'll do it a couple of times here. So what is the loss recovery? 60, 60, and 20. Okay? There's 2 ways to recover loss here. One way is to say, well, we got fried. We lost 140 bucks. I'm going to put that here. 125, 140. I'll put the 140. I'm going to put that in front. That's what we're chasing. Okay? Let's chase it 2 ways. Let's take a look at what we need to win here. We need to get back now 14 units, which is yikes, right? Plus get to our win goal. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. We're going to go with a ladder. We're going to double up 120 on the 6 and 8 and 40 in the field. And we'll do the same move. Double the size, same move. Let's see what happens. That's going to pay 140 in the box. We'll lose 40 bucks in the field. We're going to ladder down and go back to 60 bucks on the 6 and 8. I'll get some greens here. So half the size, 60 and 20. We're going to bring back some blacks and some greens to our rack. I'll spread that out so you can enjoy it. Okay, take that dollar from before out of there. Okay, and remember we had 120, that's 240 plus 4, it's 280 was out there. We're looking to get 280 back plus profit. If we catch a win here, again, same pattern. It's going to win 70 bucks minus 20. Put that back. $50 more comes to the rack, and we can ladder down just like before. And here we go. Let's see where we are in the rack. Remember, we had 280 out there, right? I'm going to take these reds and make them look like they're green chips. All right. We started that whole process with 280, but we had lost the 140 from before. So we need to get 140 plus 280 to feel like we're even. Are we there? 140, here's the 275. There's the 280 that we put out there just now. We're still chasing 140 bucks. What do we have in the rack? 80. What do we have out here? There's 140 bucks. At this point, we're $5 in profit. That we've recovered ourselves to $5 in profit, but we're not to our goal yet. We need to play here and stay at our goal, right? The next hit at 35 bucks gets you where you want to be. So option 1, double the size of your bets and do the same move. Don't change the number of wins that you need. Change the size of the win that gets you. That's one option. That requires bankroll to get us home, okay? Now, if you're risk averse in terms of bankroll, what we could have done instead to recover is this. This is what I did in the garage this morning. I decided to say, well, I'm not willing to put out 280. I'm not doing 280 today. I don't want to double the bets. I decided to take longer runs at it. Do the same thing, but double the time. So in other words, instead of saying $70, replace the 20, and regress, I put the 50 in the rack. And did it again. $70, right? Minus the 20 is $50 in the rack. And then I regress. What that means to me is that in my rack, I've got 140 that recovers my first loss. I'm still out here for this. I'm going to take $35 on a win, replace the field, rack the green. I'll take $35 again, lose the field, replace it, and rack a green. And if I pull it back now, where are we? There's 140 from the first run. There's 125. Whoops. 140 from the second run. So I recovered my loss. I recovered what I went out there with the second time, and I've got $10 in profit, and now I start over. So recovery plan 1, double the bets and take your same number of hits. Recovery plan 2, same size bets, double the number of hits. Both get us in essentially the same spot. It depends on where your risk lies, but you've got to know when you're making a strategy how many units were out here. 28 units were out here that second time versus 14 the first time. And as I'm recovering my loss, that's how we approached it, okay? So that's a look at the iron T as a way to do that. And I can do the same thing with the other strategy that I've been doing, that big money strategy, right? The 2100 salute, I call it, right? Same sort of thing, right? Let's put that out there. Let's go out there with, let's do, I can do it with 250 across. We'll do it at 250. We'll go 60, 40, and 25s. All right. There's 250 across. Okay. Actually, no, that's wrong. What am I doing here? Wrong strategy. I want to make this 42. Can't do 45 at this level. 42. So this is 204 across. Okay. Everything here pays $50. All right. 4 and 10 pay $50. 35 and a 5 and 9 pays $50. 42, 6 and 8. These are 50 for 1, all of them. Okay. This is a 2-hit strategy. Okay. 2-hit strategy. What I did this morning was, let's say the 9 pays $50, right? And I pulled the 9 down to table minimum. And I started with 204. I've got $70, $75 back in the rack. I've got not quite half, but I'm working towards half my money back in the rack. Looking for a second hit. Let's say the 5 hits, 50 for 1. And now everything comes down, right? Everything now becomes table minimum. Take the 4 down and check it out. We're going to go here, here. And we started out with 204. There's 100. There's 205. I've got $35 locked in profit, and I got 64 across, right? That is that strategy, right? You draw down one number, second hit, got your profit locked up, and you're off to the races. Now, what happens if you lose? Same thing. You have 2 choices when you lose. Okay, we can do the same move. Let's say that we are down 250. We lost the whole damn thing. Down 250. What do you do? Right? Run the same move at 500. Totally possible, right? That's a right? We can run it out there. $500 would look like, let's see, we're going to go to 80 on the 5 and 9. Okay, these were at 42. We can actually make those just $90 just to make it easier. Easier math there. We can go 90, 90, 75, 75, and 50, 50. We'll just do it like that. It's not quite double, but it's working towards double, right? So make the bets bigger, okay? And take a hit on an 8 for 105. Take the 8 down to table minimum. Take a hit on the 9 for 105. And then take everything down to minimum, right? Again, it's the same 2-hit strategy, just that the hits were a lot bigger this time. Let's get quarter, Where are we? Well, we start with 500 that time, right? It's 100, 200, 300, 400. There's our 500. And there's 76 brought back plus what's out here. So you've recovered your loss and you're back to playing again. Again, doubling the bet size and doing the same move works. Same as doing the same move at the same size 4 times would work. Again, you got to think about what is your recovery plan. And again, the more you do this double up thing, the worse it can get for you, right? If you don't get it again, now you're out here at 1,080 across, right? To do that, that's a very slippery slope when you're chasing your losses without a plan. And I think that knowing your unit size goal, how many units your losses need to win, is an important piece of that. Yeah, the recovery plan can be a couple things, right? One, same bet size, get more wins, right? If I went out there at 204 again, if I lost 204 the first time, right? Now I'm down 4 $50 units. Let's say my unit size was $50. I'm down 4 of those, which means I've got to win 4 times to recover my loss and then 2 more times to get my actual goal. If my goal is to win $100, okay? 204 across for 2 hits is a $100 win, right? If I lose a 204, I'm down 4 units. I got to win 4 times to get even and then 2 times to win. That's that slope we talked about. Or go out there at 500 across and get 2 wins, which gets my loss back plus my profit. I'd be back where I wanted to be. You got to think about what your recovery plan is going to be. If you don't have that locked in your brain, if your recovery plan is just do it what I was going to do anyway, and then hope for the miracle after that, it's going to be a long day at the office for you. And that's the way this works out. So, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to leave us a comment here in the comment section for the video, but really better still, join us on Discord. Go to casinogaming.tv and hit the community link in the menu there and join our Discord. That's where me, other YouTubers, and all of our subscribers hang out. We sit there and talk strategy and just BS kind of all day long. It's a great way to get connected and stay connected and kind of interact with the team, learn about meetups and get-togethers and all that kind of stuff. So with all that said, again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. God bless you, and I will see you in the next one.